18-year-olds have given their lives for this country in battle, yet not one of them had the legal right to drink alcohol? How many 18-year-olds sent men to the executioner's chair, yet were unable to walk to the local liquor store and buy a beer? How many 18-year-olds purchased a gun and took the lives of their innocent classmates, yet consuming alcohol is considered much more of a safety concern than buying a gun? I am very passionate about this topic because underage drinking is happening all around, and I believe this problem has gotten way out of hand. The audience can learn from my speech that 18-year-olds who have many important rights should be able to handle the right to purchase and consume alcohol. I believe, as many experts do, that if an 18-year-old is bound by the responsibilities of the law as an adult for their actions and given rights as an adult, they should also be permitted to have the right to consume alcoholic beverages. I will start off talking about how 18-year-olds are legal adults, move on to how they have adult responsibilities, and end with the privileges that an 18-year-old has. My first point I will talk about is how an 18-year-old is considered to be a legal adult. When a person turns 18 years old, they gain the right to vote. This is a powerful and important right given to a person. This right allows a person to vote for congressman, the vice president, and most importantly, the president of the United States. By letting an 18-year-old vote for a person who will lead our country for at least 4 years, the person has to use his or her own judgment to know who would be best fit for this position. If our country and our law recognize that an 18-year-old has the mental capacity, thoughtfulness, and judgment to select our leaders, why should that same person not be allowed to purchase or consume an alcoholic beverage? The 18-year-old possesses this judgment and thoughtfulness, yet our society believes that it is not sound enough to purchase alcohol. This does not make sense. Now that I've talked about an 18-year-old's right to vote, let me talk about their adult responsibilities. There are two very important responsibilities an 18-year-old has. One is that they can serve in our military and defend our country. Therefore, our society is allowing 18-year-olds to go out into foreign lands and allowing them to put their lives on the line to defend our nation. But for some reason, our society won't allow them to have a glass of wine at a sit-down dinner. I believe if one can serve in the armed forces and fight in war, that same person should be allowed to have the right to consume alcohol. Also, another responsibility an 18-year-old has is that he or she is eligible to be a juror in our country's justice system. When a person turns 18 years old, they will start receiving letters in the mail asking them to come to court and serve in jury duty. Although many people discount this right, it is a major one that I need to touch on. The duty of the juror is essentially to listen to the evidence of a trial and make a decision on whether or not they think someone in the trial is innocent or guilty. For example, the same 18-year-old who isn't allowed to take a sip of champagne at a wedding might be asked as a juror to decide the fate of a person who is on trial for murder. This example demonstrates the completely different way that our society views this very same person. How can we say that someone who has the capacity to make a life or death judgment does not have the capacity to drink alcohol? What are some of the privileges that an 18-year-old has? Well, there are many that I could talk about, such as being able to get married without your parents' consent, entering into contracts, obtaining professional licenses, and purchasing firearms. Because there are so many rights and privileges that an 18-year-old gains, I will touch on the one that deals with the safety issue. The law specifically carved out the right to consume alcohol from the rights given to people reaching the age of majority. This has been done primarily because of safety reasons. The government has determined that in order to protect the adult from himself or herself and others, an 18-year-old should not be allowed to drink. The reasoning behind the law likely results from moralistic viewpoints, but also from concerns due to alcohol-related accidents. The logic, however, behind the law is flawed when measured against the rights of 18-year-olds with similar or more striking potential consequences. According to newsbatch.com, minors 18 and over are able to freely purchase weapons through private sales. Therefore, our society believes that an 18-year-old can purchase a gun and not drink. Does that even make any sense? Most 18-year-olds go off to college and live on their own for 4 or more years. They are learning to make decisions on their own without having to consult their parents. Along with being on their own, they have to make decisions about drinking. Because the drinking age right now is 21, there is a division that occurs at colleges. Some students at college are able to drink because they are 21 or above, while others who are only 18 to 20 years old cannot. This is unnatural and may lead to dangerous situations. Even some college presidents believe this is true given the current law. According to Sherry Roan's article in the Los Angeles Times, she quoted, Our experience as college and university presidents convinces us that 21 is not working. A culture of dangerous, clandestine binge drinking, often conducted off campus, has developed. What they are saying is that since it is illegal for an 18-year-old to drink, they find ways to drink where no supervision is around. According to Sean Flynn, who writes for Parade, because 18-year-olds, adults in most other senses, generally can't drink legally in bars and restaurants, they tend to drink in dorm rooms, on isolated fields, and at unsupervised house parties where adults can't watch them. In those environments, the drinking can be dangerous, especially among young people who have no practical experience with alcohol, yet years of exposure to a social and advertising culture that encourages drinking. Rather than having the controlled and experienced environment that a drinking age of 18 would bring to a college campus, we are left with the total unknown. I am 19 years old, and while I do not personally drink alcoholic beverages, I fully believe that I should have the right to be given the responsibilities that I have as a young adult in this society. The age of majority comes with rights, responsibilities, and privileges of adulthood, and I believe that one of those rights should be a drinking age of 18. Along with this right will come the responsibility that goes with the consumption of alcohol. Based on what is expected of an 18-year-old in today's society, the law should be changed.